All right, welcome, people. We have an exciting interview for tonight. We've got Mr. Mike of January House, who's another fellow reseller, YouTuber. Before we jump in here, we're going to do an interview type style video for you guys here, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, depending. You guys have questions, leave them in the chat. We'll ask Mike. And then maybe we talk a little Q&A at the end, little reseller shenanigans, whatever's going on. But I want to make a note here before I do this, because I had somebody send me some coffee, and it's called Roaster's Best Coffee, roastersbestcoffee.com. This is the breakfast blend. And the gentleman and his son watched me on YouTube, Jason, and he's like, I got to send you my coffee. And I'm telling you what, it is to die for. So if you guys like good coffee, it's Roaster's Blend. It's a little bit of a medium flavor, but it's actually really, really good. So shout out to roastersbestcoffee.com. I really appreciate it. Tonight's show is going to be really great, guys, because Mike started recently making videos, and I've been really enjoying them, dude. I've been binge watching them like it's Netflix.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
Without further ado, let's look at some people in the chat and see what's going on with everybody out there. We got Callie Reseller Luis.
Hey, Luis.
A&M Hunter. Dizzy Angie. Howdy, Dizzy Angie. Jack Matt's in the house. Mike Newsome. Bob's World Entertainment Podcast. The 9 Pound Hammer was here as well, I saw earlier. So we're just going to jump right into the interview, dude. I'm really excited to have you here, Mike. Thank you for taking some time out of your day. I know you're in Pennsylvania, so it's probably a little bit later, like 7 or 8 maybe?
Yep, it's a little after 7 here in Pennsylvania. Yep.
Yeah, we got Philly Picker in the house there. Maybe he sees you out and about.
Yeah. Hey, Joe. Yeah, he's down in Philly or in Philadelphia, and I'm out in Harrisburg, so a little, maybe 2 hours away.
Sweet. So why don't you just give us a little background on yourself? Are you married? Are, you know, kids, full-time, part-time at reselling? How long have you been reselling for? And just kind of just a brief introduction on yourself.
Sure. Hey, my name's Mike. Next month, I'll be 42 years old. I am married, but I have 3 wonderful kids, a daughter who's 10, a son who's 6, and another daughter who's 1. I've been selling online for about 5 years, but full-time for the last 2.5 years. And I've always kind of had the hustle gene, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but just to get out there and a good work ethic, I guess. And I've always liked to, do my own thing and try to make my own money. And I was thinking about some early experiences. And when I was little, my brother and I, so I was probably 10. I have a brother that's 2 years younger. So maybe I was 9 and he was 7 or whatever. We were selling iced tea on the side of the road one day. We had a tea stand. Yeah, my mom made it up a batch and put it in her, pitcher container. I think it was a Tupperware thing. So we were out there selling iced tea for $0.25. About 40 minutes goes by, and this construction truck rolls up. And the guy rolls down the window and goes, how much? And we said $0.25. And he said, how much for all of it? We said, for all of it? And he said, yeah, for the whole pitcher. I said, $5. Because, when you're 9 and you're selling things for $0.25, $5 sounds like a lot of money. So he's like, all right. He gives me the $5. I give him the pitcher and the cups, and he takes off. So we go home, and my mom says, man, that was quick. You guys are done already? And we said, yep. She said, how'd you do? We said, sold it all. She said, really? We said, yeah. She said, where's my pitcher at? I said, we sold it. She said, you sold it? I said, yeah. She said, how much you get? I said, $5. She said, it's like a $12 Tupperware pitcher. So we learned a little bit about cost of goods that day, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so, stuff like that. And then, so I grew up in the, mid to late 80s, early 90s. And, I collected baseball cards and read comic books and collected comic books as well. And we used to go to this indoor, it's kind of like an indoor flea market place with my dad. And he would give us a few bucks just to run around, just something to do when we were younger. Mm-hmm. And there was a baseball card store there that I would always get my baseball cards at. And one day I was taking a little longer than usual. My dad came in the store and he said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm trying to decide if I should buy, 2 packs of 1987 Topps baseball or whatever it was, or 1 pack of the new, 1989 one. And he said, why would you buy these old packs? And I said, well, I don't have the whole set. And there's, like a Mark McGuire or whatever was in there that, was worth a couple bucks, $5, and I could sell it back to the guy, and then I could buy more cards. I was explaining to him like I didn't really think he cared. And he goes, "Why don't you buy a whole box?" And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "How much is the whole box?" I was like, "I don't know. I never buy a whole box." So it was like $20 or I don't know, $25, whatever the number was. So he ended up buying it, and we went home. We went through it, and he got really into it. My dad, and
Nice.
he was the guy that would go through all these packs and look for card number 476 for the set for me, or whatever we needed for the set, and he would mark it down and write it all down. And we started selling. We got into selling cards like at the malls. They used to have, and they probably still do, sports card shows, maybe sometimes at local malls and stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So it was a really cool, bonding thing for me and my dad. We spend the weekend together. We truck out all these cards out to this mall and set them up and then try to sell them. And then I was in the comics too. So we started buying some comic books like wholesale, and we would sell them alongside of the baseball cards because, maybe parents or fathers would buy baseball cards, but their sons or daughters would come in and buy comic books too at the sports card show. So it was a really cool bonding experience. He was in the NASCAR real big, and they had NASCAR cards. Dale Earnhardt Sr. at the time was huge, and it was just we got into that. We were big into that, and we almost talked about getting a store right before the market just kind of crashed on that in I would say probably the late 90s or whatever it was, early 2000s or whatever. But we always did that. And then, one of my first jobs was selling cars. I sold Chevrolets for a Chevy dealership, which isn't it isn't like reselling, but it's hustling. I mean, you got to hustle. And, it's commission based. So if you don't sell, you don't eat, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it though. I mean, I met a lot of cool, interesting people. Kind of like this reselling business. You meet a lot of cool people, and you make some money along the way, and your personality helps you. So, I did that, and then I worked a corporate job for a long time, and then I was selling, just probably other people start on eBay, grab stuff around your house, or clothes you're not wearing anymore, don't fit you, or shoes or whatever, and just selling those type of items. And then I saw a news segment on, I forget if it was like Facebook or YouTube, or maybe it was my local news, about this kid that was buying clearance items at like Walmart and Target and reselling them on Amazon. And it was online arbitrage. And I was like, what the heck is this?
Mm-hmm. I
was like, I could do that. I go to Walmart and Target all the time, So I started doing that, and I got into Amazon, and on that news cast, they were talking about how people do this full time for a living, as a business. And they said people make YouTube videos about what they buy and what they sell. And I said, really? Because I was using YouTube for music videos or watching people, hurt themselves and laughing at them, at that time.
Yeah.
So I went on there and I saw guys like you and Craigslist Hunter and just some real down to earth people with really cool stories, and just out there grinding and hustling. And I thought, man, I could do this. I mean, I could do this. So I started selling more on on eBay, and I was just part-time. But then in 2018, I lost my corporate job, and I said, you know what? I have this kind of business that I've been doing for a number of years already, and maybe I could make a go of this full-time. So I've been selling full-time since then.
That's awesome.
That's kind of my story.
And you know what? It's just interesting because it's now that you've got, some experience under your belt, and, we're going to go through tonight a bunch of topics, maybe some mistakes you've had in reselling. But overall, it's an easy business to get into to start.
Right.
And then you got to fine tune it and find out kind of what works for you. But it's interesting that you were talking about, you and your dad were thinking about opening up a baseball card store back in the day, because that was the place, like back in the day. Like I remember as a kid, the baseball card store was like number one. The skateboard store was like number two.
Right.
And then the sports store, like a soccer store, was really neat to go into. And I just remember back then, this was like mid 80s, late 80s, that all of these stores, they were just booming, and I'd go in there, the baseball card store would have 80 kids in there.
Yeah. It was the place to hang out. Like there was no, for me, it was no internet. It was pre-internet at that time, the early 90s, it started getting up there, whatever, mid 90s. But when I was growing up, baseball cards, we all just got together and looked at what we had and we traded. And same thing with comic books. We talked about the new comic books. For me, it was the comic book store. I was sitting there and talk to that comic book store owner forever. I mean, just about comics and things that were happening. I mean, I don't know. I was into that stuff. And yeah, we had the store picked out, like, the location. We were like, yeah, we'll do it right here. And I don't know. I wasn't looking at the money side of it at all. Like, I had no idea how much rent was or whatever, square footage or whatever. But we didn't end up doing it. Thank goodness, I guess, because eventually it just went away. But
so probably from that passion you had as a kid, you've got some knowledge in the sports cards and the comics now that are probably helping you along with your reselling business, huh?
Yeah, definitely on that side of it. And I still have some. I was just talking to Luis today, actually, on Instagram, and he's in the chat about some of my sports cards. I got to get some of these NASCAR. I still have a ton of NASCAR cards to list. So, yeah, I mean, it helps just, knowing how to buy them, what price points to buy them at, and then how to sell them either individually. Like if it was a Dale Earnhardt Senior card, you could sell individually. If it's like Mark Martin or, some of the lesser guys, lot them up 10, 20 cards and sell them out that way.
Nice. Emily here says, hi, January House. Been seeing you around a lot.
Hey, Emily. Yeah, she's great. I love her videos, too. She's got a great channel. So if you're not subscribed to Emily, you should go check her out, definitely.
I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I'm not subscribed here. So let me just take a picture of your thing, Emily. That way it'll remind me. 9 Pound Hammer wants to know, what kind of camera you're using, dude? Yeah, because you look crystal clear.
I am on a Microsoft Surface Pro. And it's just the front facing, it's not the rear facing. I switch it to the front facing, and you can change the, the resolution. So I'm on 720 high def for you.
Wow, you look good. No homo, dude. No homo. You look good.
Hey, it's 2020. It's all right to say that.
All right, dude. So you sell on all types of platforms. And first off, congrats on your first sale on Poshmark. I watched that video, dude.
And that was one of your shirts that I bought from you. That was a Harley shirt I bought in a lot from you, from Bill, or whatever.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool that first sale was a Harley shirt. But what is your favorite platform to sell on, and what kind of platforms do you sell on, and just kind of talk about the mix of variety you have, because watching your channel, you're like, hey, this sold on OfferUp, this sold on eBay, and I think it's very important for people out there to understand, don't have all your eggs in one basket. I mean, keep doing Etsy and Mercari. So I'll let you chime in on that, man.
Yeah, I mainly sell on eBay, but I set a goal for myself in 2020 to sell in other platforms or sell more on other platforms. So eBay is probably my main platform that I sell on, and then Mercari. I sell a little on Amazon. I very rarely list there anymore. I have listings on Amazon. But I saw a lot of local items on OfferUp and LetGo. My favorite, they all have different, I think, benefits, positives. eBay has the most eyeballs, right? The most people out there looking. So I make more sales on eBay. And locally, cash money with no fees is pretty appealing, especially in this kind of time we're in now. But I really like Mercari, I would say, as far as my favorite. One, the fees are a little less than my eBay fees, and two, it just seems like I have more interaction with the buyers on Mercari. Like I'll list something on Mercari, say a lot of DVDs. Say I list 2 separate lots of DVDs. I'll have somebody say, hey, can you swap this one out for that one, or comic books? I try to do either 2 or 3 comic books in a lot. And they'll say, can you switch this Spider-Man with that Spider-Man and sell me those 2 together instead of the lot you have? And it just seems like the interaction on Mercari is a lot, it's a lot stronger than it is on eBay. eBay, I'll have watchers on all types of items, and I'll send out offers and I'll never hear anything, or I don't know. I mean, it works. Don't get me wrong on eBay, but I like the interaction with Mercari, and Mercari seems to be advertising everywhere. The last, this past football season, I was in a casino watching the playoffs, and there was Mercari commercials everywhere on pro football, game day. And, you never see an eBay commercial. If you look at YouTube right now, a lot of the ads in between the videos are Mercari ads. They just seem to be everywhere. And the audience seems to be a little younger, maybe that millennial, quote unquote, millennial age or whatever it is. but they're on their phones and they know how to use it and they're not afraid to interact with you. So maybe that's it. So I kind of like Mercari as my favorite platform right now.
Yeah, when Mercari first came out, we jumped on board, and I was blown away, like just how fast a transaction would happen.
Right.
Like, I mean, it was amazing. Like, there's stuff obviously when you sell on eBay, you throw something up and boom, it sells. But with Mercari, if it's the right item, I mean, it could literally pop in minutes. And I just love the how easy it was to list an item. Like with eBay, with some of this item specific stuff, I mean, you could be spending 3 minutes just going, okay, here.
Right.
Mercari is really well laid out, where it's mobile friendly, really.
It really is.
Let me ask you this, Mike, with all these different platforms you're selling on, are you cross-listing any of your other items to other platforms, or is it just, hey, this is my pile from Mercari, this is only eBay?
No, I cross-list pretty much anything between platforms. So I start all my listings with eBay, and then I use a software called Vendoo, Vendoo. I am not affiliated with them. I don't get a commission, although if anyone from Vendoo is listening, I'll surely take a commission for mentioning their name. But I'm on the simple plan. There's a bunch of plans like eBay, right? So I'm on the simple plan. It's like $25 a month, and you'll get 120 listings that you can pull into. So basically it's like a holding area for your listings. So I have my listings on eBay that I start, and then I can import them into Vendoo, and then from Vendoo I can cross post them on Mercari, Poshmark, and Etsy if I wanted to. And right now I'm not doing anything on Etsy, but just Poshmark and Mercari. But it's real easy. So they take your listing information from eBay, or vice versa. I guess if you started on Poshmark and didn't sell on eBay, it would go the other way. But they take your listing information from wherever you're starting, and then they populate that information into the appropriate fields to the platform that you want to cross list on. And then you'll have to make tweaks here and there. Obviously, like Mercari only gives you 40 characters for a title, where eBay gives you, I think, 80. So you have to edit that down. And Mercari doesn't have their whole dollar pricing. So I sell things for like $19.95. On Mercari, it's either 20 or 19. You can't do $19.95, right? So you have to make some edits like that, and you have to pick the category because it doesn't pick it for you. But other than that, once you get good on it, at least for me on Vendoo, I can list pretty quickly across those 3 platforms. And then anything big or bulky goes to offer up and let go.
Nice. Yeah, Dizzy Angie left a comment here. She uses List Perfectly to cross-post eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, and Depop, which is interesting. If you're not subscribed to Dizzy Angie, she makes some videos. I recently just subscribed, so go check her out. Now, are you using this stuff? Is it all? Is it through a desktop, or are you able to use your phone and do the cross-listing?
I cross-list through my laptop here, my Microsoft Surface. Okay. It's just easier for me to use the mouse and just like copy and paste and do it that way. Maybe it's just because I'm more, I don't know, old school, or I don't know, whatever. But I use my app all the time. I just don't. I don't really use the app, even the eBay app, to list anything. I might get the listing started on eBay on the app, but I'll always finish it on the desktop. It's just easier for me. And plus, like at the end, I don't know, maybe this is a question for the group or for you, Mike. At the end of your eBay listing, they ask you about the promoted percentage, how you want to promote your listing, what percentage. But on the app, it doesn't seem to ask you the percentage at all. So I never know if I listed it straight from the app, are they just kicking me into the highest percentage? You know, like when you list, like when you start your listing, it says the trend is 12%, and you're like, no, I'm not listing nothing at 12% with you. You know what I mean? Like, I want to change it to 2%. So I know I can do that on the desktop, but I don't know if I can do that on the app. So if anyone knows the answer to that, I'd be happy to hear it.
Yeah, I don't. I'm kind of like you. I'm old school. I mean, I take photos with my phone, my mobile device, and then I just do everything through the desktop. So I'm pretty much sending my photos to my desktop, downloading them there from like the cloud, and then off I go. And but with like Mercari and stuff like that, I don't use any cross-listing software, which I used to, and then I stopped. So I might have to look into the Vendoo. I appreciate the info on that. But I do know, like when I'm listed on Mercari, it's simple. It's just like I can sit here like this, and here's an object, and boom, and then all right, here we go. Let's go selling.
Yeah, Yeah, Macari's easy to do it that way. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's just I sit down, I take all my photos with my cell phone, and then I sit down and I just get the desktop out and I hammer it out. You know, I just have a process now that's worked, and I just keep that process.
Nice. We got What the Hales in the house, Jeremy and George. Hello, all you beautiful people. So thanks for stopping in, guys. Appreciate it. Jack Matt here says that sponsored listings are a ripoff.
Oh.
What's your thoughts on that, Mike?
I mean, I'm sure at some level it probably is a ripoff because you're paying a store fee, a listing fee. You know, I mean, how much more are you going to give to eBay? However, I mean, for me, this is just my opinion, and I think it depends on what you're selling. So if you're trying to sell, you know, PlayStation 3 Call of Duty game where there's, you know, 8,000 of them on eBay, I know even though it might be a ripoff, I'd rather pay to have it a little higher in the search than, you know, number 1,248 those listings. That's just me personally, but I don't check to see if it's sold via promoted. Like, I know it shows you in that screen. I don't like really bother with that, and I never do the recommended percentage of promoted listings. I literally do either 2 or 3%. Usually, that's the highest I'll go. So
yeah, I remember when it first came out. I was adjusting with it all, you know, trying to figure out, and you know, it'll tell you, hey, this is recommended 7%. I'm like, well, give me a 7 or 24%. I've seen as high. I'm like, dude, this is insanity. So I'm always my thing is just 1%. I just go right through 1% and I let it sit there. You know, and we get sales all the time through the promoted listings. But what I do think is neat is it does bump up, you know, and you can see your own listing there. Yeah. And I've literally had items where it'll just sell like within the hour. Yeah. But the one question I have, this is the one thing I wish eBay would make an improvement on. When you have an item that you list, let's say you have best offer on it, right? It should alert you that, hey, this buyer who's sending you an offer, if this item sells and you accept it, it's under your promoted listings, because they don't do that.
Right.
You know? That can make a big difference, you know. Yeah. If some people are out there and they're promoted their item and they're paying a 20% you know, promotion fee to eBay, and then they get the best offer, you really don't know like if it's promoted or not, right?
Right. You have no idea, right? Yeah. No, I hear you. And I know it's just a money grab for eBay, but the items I sell mostly I feel need to be promoted. I mean, there's a few that I don't promote, but I feel most of the items I sell need to be promoted.
Yeah, me too. Susie Arizona says, I use promoted listings between 1% and 3%. I move it all around the time. Yeah, I mean, I think I like the 1%. I used to move it around all the time. Then I got tired and bored with it. Hey, She Sells by Sue. She says, good to see you, Mike. Well, there's 2 mics here tonight.
One of us, right? Here you.
But we're happy that you're here. And Jack Matt says he used to do the 1 plus 77. Oof. Philly Picker says, what does Philly Picker say? I just do 1%. I have no idea if it helps or not. Well, you can look on the your listings. You can see.
Yeah, there's a screen on your seller hub that tells you, right? Or there's a chart on your seller hub that tells you, yeah.
Because it's important to know that too, because I've made videos about this in the past, but maybe Mike, you could talk about it because you share your eBay store publicly, which we'll talk about in a few here. But when you look at your overall monthly numbers under the seller hub for promoted listings and see, oh my gosh, just for me promoting here, I spent, let's say, $8 and made $1,700, right? Right. So do you see similar numbers to that in your?
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And like I said, especially if you're selling, like, I feel like commodity items, quote unquote, you know, I feel like you need to do it. You need this stuff because as a buyer, if you think about it, people aren't looking like all the way down. You know, they're going to find the item that they want, and they might sort it by free shipping or whatever it is, or lowest price. But if you're not up there somewhere near the top, they're not going to go to page 2 and 3. I wouldn't think. I wouldn't. So I wouldn't think other people would.
Yeah. I mean, and there's so many people moving to the mobile devices when they're shopping. So that bump, I mean, people are, how do you describe it? They don't have patience these days, right? If they're searching for something and it pops up, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've sold items that were sponsored, promoted listings at the top with a higher price point than what the rest of the market's showing, you know?
Right. Yep.
And so there's a lot of advantages to that. This is an interesting comment here. From SYVS, I use sponsored at 3%, and I get it back from eBay each quarter. eBay pays 30% of it back every quarter, or $30 of it back every quarter. I have not gone over the $30 in a while. I'll keep using it. That's great.
Yeah.
We got another question here. Dead legs. Does it matter if you promote with a higher percentage? What's your thoughts, Mike?
I just started doing some of those higher percentage promoted listings, so I don't have the full data because I'll have to wait till the end of April to find out. But I just recently started with some of those higher percentage, some that are 7.1 or 8.1. But so I just go by what I hear from other sellers, and some sellers have told me, yeah, whatever the trend is, they do the trend. And yeah, like A&M Hunter says, I want to sell my stuff fast, and so do I sometimes. I just want to just get it churning and burning, get it in and get it out. So I think it helps, but I'll have to be able to wait till the end of the month to see if it helps for sure for me personally.
Nice. So you make YouTube videos where you really show exactly what you're selling, and your videos are really neat. I encourage everybody to go and subscribe to Mike, because you're showing videos where you're just like, here, sold this today, and you show them from different platforms. The online stuff to the local apps. Can you tell everyone what they can expect from watching your channel, and if you planned anything for the future of what you kind of want to do at your channel?
Yeah, so I mean, I started watching guys like you and Craigslist Hunter, like I said, and when I started selling, I always thought, man, I could make a YouTube video on what I sold. I thought it'd be really cool just to do it, And with this quarantine that we're under now, and it might be different where everyone else is at, but we're pretty much in lockdown here in Pennsylvania. I thought it was a good time. I jumped on Instagram. I had never been on Instagram before, and I started making YouTube videos. So my plan is to make a video a day. Most of my videos are pretty quick, 4 or 5 minutes. And I just try to go over what I sold, what I'm shipping out in the store that day. And so most of them right now are what sold videos. I do have a few haul videos. So things I've won in online auctions from your online auctions, Mike, and then a few other online auctions that I've won things from. And I also have a couple haul videos from private picks, private individuals. Like I always say, I think it's good to tell people what you do for a living, let people know that you're a reseller and that you're looking to buy things and you have cash and you can buy them when they need. Especially now, people are cleaning out their attics or their basements or whatever it is. And if they know you're a reseller, I've had a number of people call me and say, hey, I got this stuff, and are you interested? Come check it out. And I've made videos on it, and I'm doing pretty well. The last one I did was a big video game lot, and I'm doing real well on that. So most of them are what sold videos. There's a few haul videos. And then on Sundays, I try to put out a video where I share like tips and tricks of things that I've learned in the past. So how to create your own categories within your eBay store. So that when you have customers come and they're looking for video games on PlayStation 2, they don't have to search through all your listings. They can go right to your category of PlayStation 2 video games and find all the ones you have for sale. How to open the unpaid item assistant, things of that nature on Sundays. And then in the future, I hope to do some more actual like thrift store haul videos or yard sale hauls, like when I can actually go out to the hauls, to those thrift stores or yard sales, estate sales. I purchase a lot from estate sales, so I'm anxious to actually do some estate sale haul videos in the future.
That's nice, yeah. And so we're going to see any videos from you where, hey guys, how I turned $3 into $42 million overnight.
Yeah, and buy my course. Just buy my course, right? I'll just give you a little taste of it, right? Yeah, no, you're not going to see that, right? I'm not a multi-zillionaire here. Yeah, I just try to be as honest as I can. Here's what I got, and here's what I paid for it. And most of my items are like storage, auction, storage locker finds. So I try to sell every bit of the item that every item that I sell or that I find in that storage locker, I try to sell, which brings the overall cost down for each item. In my opinion, you pay $100, when you find 100 items, it's $1 a piece, right? So, I just try to be open and honest. And some are home runs, and some I've made mistakes and I swing and miss sometimes, but it goes in the video. Why not? I mean, I think people appreciate if you're honest and just open with what you sell and how much you bought it for, and if you messed up, you messed up.
Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of it is that's why I like watching your videos. You're really genuine, and like you can see the honesty in you like that, and it's just those are the type of videos I like watching. And I know YouTube's filled with a lot of great resellers, and there's some resellers that are just not my cup of tea. But it's interesting to watch when people are just genuinely genuine. And I think you're definitely one of those guys, no doubt.
Appreciate it.
How has this quarantine affected you, your business? And have you done anything to improve your business during this whole craziness?
I'll tell you, it's tough when you can't get out and go to a estate sale or a yard sale. I mean, it's springtime now. Today is 64 degrees in Pennsylvania. It'd be a great day for a estate sale. It'd be like half price day too, and you can't go out. But I had a huge inventory pile before this quarantine started. So the quarantine's actually helped me, drive that death pile down. And also, I don't know if it was happening before the quarantine or not, but it seems to me that there's a lot of these YouTube auctions like yours, and there's a number of other ones out there. I don't know if that was happening prior to the quarantine or not, but since the quarantine, I know I've been on a number of them. It seems like every day or every other day there's an auction. The 9-pound hammer, Delvin has auctions all the time. If you're not checking them out, go check them out on his channel. So that's definitely helped. And I think, people staying home, on the other side of it, there's people home, they can't go out, and they are buying things, right? And they're getting these stimulus checks now. They're starting to come out, or they have their kids homeschooled, at home, can't go to school, and they need things for these kids to do and themselves. So I sold a lot of DVDs, board games, video games, action figures. So, I mean, things that I had sold previously, but it just seems like right now is super hot.
I noticed, because you're really transparent. We'll talk about your eBay store, but I looked at your eBay store and I'm like, yeah, dude, you're rocking, but a lot of video games. And that's what I've been noticing, uptake on video games and media and board games. And I think it's pretty darn cool. What the Hales say here, storage auction items are amazing. And I totally agree. I think, honestly, as any researcher should at least try to dabble in buying storage units. It's a whole process.
Yep.
You got to have space. You're going to have to deal with trash. And we'll jump into the storage unit stuff here in a little bit. But there was a quick question here from Emily. How did you get the name January House?
That's a good question. So I guess now it's 3 years now. My son, when he was 3 years old, it's kind of a weird story, but I'll tell it anyway because, it is what it is. So my father passed away almost 20 years ago now. So he never met my son, who's 6 now. But when my son was 3 years old, I had to open up the store, and I saw that you needed like a store name was a category on eBay, and I didn't know. I was thinking, Mike's Treasures or Finds or something like that. And one day I was driving in the car, and he was in the back seat in his car seat, and he said he was telling me about how he was hanging out at the January House last night with his grandfather, and it was like one of those things where I was like, I'm glad I didn't drive off the road after I heard it, but it was a weird thing that kind of just stuck with me. And it was at that time when I was looking for a store name. So I said the January House, and he made a couple other comments after the fact about the January House and hanging out with his grandfather. And I don't know where he got it from. And I didn't dig too deep into it, but that's where I got the name, the January House, from. So it kind of just stuck. And, I just got a new logo during the quarantine, so that kind of helped,
That's awesome.
Some legitimacy to the store.
Yeah. The logo looks great, by the way. You sent me a higher resolution copy. I'm like, this is really nice.
Yeah, I did. I got it on Fiverr. I don't know if you're familiar. I'm not affiliated with Fiverr or anything like that. Fiverr, 2 R. And you just go on there and find there's freelance people that will do logos and graphic design for you, and you can pay different amounts depending on what you want, and they hook me up.
Yeah, where did this go to? Oh, I guess the thing's just bumped up here. Yeah, the 9-pound hammer says that's amazing. I just got goosebumps. So yeah, it was something. I'll tell you what. And I don't know, little kids, and I don't know. I'm into that kind of stuff. That I don't know. So anyway, yeah, it really struck me, and I was like, well, I might as well use this. It sounds like I should use it, right? It was made for me to use it when he said that. And I don't know where he got it from, how he called it the January House, but that's what he called it. So I stole it from him, and I use it. Yeah. That's really cool. All right. So you purchase storage auctions, which is great. What is some of the best finds you found in the storage unit?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not bragging, but I seem to have a good a good luck with storage lockers. Like most, I'll say 90% of them are really good for me. But I think probably the best one I ever found, and I don't even know how I found it now, knowing what I know. It was like in the early days, and it was a storage locker where they had a commercial dehumidifier, stand up. It has wheels on it, and it's like a big handle, like commercial use.
Oh yeah, wow.
Dry Ease or something, DRIEZE. Look it up on eBay. And there was a whole bunch of, I guess the guy had a store, like a sporting goods store, and there was all these lacrosse items in there, like lacrosse balls and shirts and shorts and like the net head, on the stick, not the stick, but the netting head. Mm-hmm. And he had this big, huge commercial dehumidifier, and I was like, what am I going to do with this thing? Shirts and lacrosse balls, I know. This big goofy thing. Yeah. I tell you what, Mike, I sold that thing in like a week for $950 on eBay. I bought the locker for like $103. And there was a picture of it, so I don't know how somebody like missed it or didn't know what it was or whatever. But the guy I sold it to, I sold on eBay, local pickup. He drove up from Virginia Beach, Virginia, to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, basically where I live. It's like 5.5 hour drive, and back in one day on a Saturday, and gave me $950 cash for it. So that was probably my best find in a storage locker so far. But I mean, I find Pokemon cards and that just stuff that just sells and sells and sells, comic books, figures. I mean, I'm sure if I added up some of those lockers, that it had been better than that commercial dehumidifier. But for a one-time item, for what I paid for the item for the locker, that commercial dehumidifier was the best.
You can't beat that, dude. I mean, that's why I like buying the units, because you can find some mystery item in there that you have no idea what it is, right. And then you look at it and go, well, geez, there's my mortgage or my rent.
Right, exactly, yeah, right. Yeah. And for me, I like learning about things, like new things like that. So I mean, obviously, I had no idea what that was about. So I had to learn, like, how do you even turn it on? What do you look for when it turns on? Like, the big thing for those is how many hours it has on it, right? Well, you have to like go to a couple different screens to find out the usage hours so far, and then that matters in your listing. Like if it has 9 million usage hours, like you're not going to get $950, but if it has 400 hours, then you'll get more for it. So I don't know, I like learning about new things and finding cool things like that, and yeah, it helps when you're making good money on it.
Yeah, I think that's what's so neat about when you buy storage units is there's always going to be something in that unit you probably don't know what it is,
right?
And then you're going to get a takeaway from that unit, right? Where you're going to go, oh, I didn't know that shoe sells for this type of money, or there's always going to be something in there that it'll as you keep buying units, or as you keep progressing, you'll look at it and go, I would have never known that unless I bought that unit, So
yeah, right.
It's always a learning curve, that's for sure. And it's just it just starts building up in the database in your head, like, oh, okay,
yeah.
Humidifiers. Next time I see it, I know what those are.
Right. I always look now. I've never found another one, but
That's awesome. So the follow-up question on that: what is the craziest, weirdest, scariest thing or story you found in a storage unit?
So I don't know. So I got two stories for you, right? One is, you see a lot of YouTube videos about people that buy storage lockers like yourself, right? And one of the things that it seems that storage locker buyers like you find more often than not is, I'll say adult toys.
Yeah.
Usually for women, right? I'm trying to be as nice as I can about it, right? And I had bought like maybe 50 lockers, and I had never found anything like that ever. I mean, I wasn't looking to find a locker with them. I'm just saying, like, I had never found a locker with any of those items in it.
Yeah.
So like recently, one of the last lockers I bought was like, there was like I thought it was a pencil case. Like it was a legit, like when you were younger, I had like pens and like, markers, like a marker case, like a,
yeah.
And it had like, I could feel it from the outside, had stuff in it. And I was like, all right. And I unzipped it. And like, there was like 4 of them in there. Right. And at first I was like, yeah, that's a big marker.
Now that's a Sharpie.
Oh, that's not a marker. I was like, oh. So I finally felt like I made it as a storage locker buyer when I bought that. When I got that little bag, that pencil bag of.
You broke your cherry.
I broke my cherry.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
But it's like with the storage and stuff. Not everyone's going to be a home run. You're not going to get filthy rich from it. If you struggle with buying a unit, going, "Oh my God, I spent too much, and I'm not sure I'm going to get my money back," or it's craziness.
Probably the worst one I ever bought was definitely the worst one I ever bought was you can only see pictures online, right? And they are usually the worst pictures, like low lighting from the worst angle. And, there's only 3 of them pictures anyway. So I had this locker where it was I think it was only a 5x10, but it was packed with, like the really good storage totes, the HDX. If you look up HDX, they sell them at like Home Depot.
Yep.
The black ones with the yellow, it's like diamond plate on them, kind of like.
Yeah, I got those. That's what I use in my garage. Those are nice.
Yeah, like the good ones. Mm-hmm. And it was stacked with them. And it was a couple bags, like trash bags, right? And I was like, well, man, it looks like maybe clothes in the trash bags. But somebody spent some good money on those totes, right? Because it was like 40 of these like HDX totes, right? So I spent $730 on this locker. And Mike, every one of those HDX totes had trash in it.
Oh my God.
Legit, like if go to your kitchen, take your trash bag out, tie it up, and put it in an HDX bag. And and that's what it was. $730.
Oh my God.
So there was two good things. So I try to look at the positives. I try to always look on the bright side. 2 good things. One, it was easy to clean out because it was all just HDX totes that I just pick up and take away, right? So that was easy. And 2, I cleaned every one of them damn totes out, Mike, and I made like $200 on those totes, right? Because I think they're whatever they were on at Home Depot. I just lotted a bunch up and sold them locally on OfferUp and Let Go, and people bought them like crazy for storage. Yeah. Like I cleaned them all out and Febrezed them and everything, and it was cash money. So I still lost money on the locker, obviously, but yeah, that was the worst one, man. They really got me on that one. I don't know.
Yeah, Jack Matt here says, "What is the most you paid for a unit?"
Yeah, that's probably the most I paid for. I thought I was going to hit a home run there. I know I'm not super big time on the storage locker. But I feel like for me, I always try to buy like as much as I can for the least amount of money that I can. And I know at some point here, I'm going to have to up my cost of goods game here and spend a little bit more to make a little bit more, per item. I understand that. But right now, it's hard when you don't know, especially storage lockers. Like you can't see anything, right? And I took a shot and I got burned. So, that taste is always still there with me, but we'll see. And then everything's shut down here. So I haven't bought a storage locker in forever because of the quarantine.
Yeah, there was some out here. I bought one last week, or maybe it was the week prior to that. And then they're sporadic right now. Like there's maybe 3 ending next week. And then you look on storagetreasures.com and there's like only 12 listings. It's like, oh my gosh. But yeah, we got a good question here from Emily here. Let me go back to this one. I'll let you answer this, Mike. Okay. Do you need a truck for doing storage units? I'm concerned about the logistics of getting it out of there.
Well, there's a couple ways to answer that. You don't need a truck. How many trips do you want to take, right? I have a Chevy Equinox. So it's like a small SUV, right? And I fold the seats down, and however much I can get in, that's how much I can get. And if I have to make 2, 3, 4 trips, I have to make 2, 3, 4 trips. But yeah, a truck would definitely help. And I'd like to get, I'm looking to get a van, like a cargo van this year. Mm-hmm. So right now I can't buy lockers. So I kind of put that on hold and just working it. But yeah, a truck would definitely help you more than a SUV, or a van would definitely help you. But just make the trips and just clean it out. Most places are pretty flexible. They give you, I think it's either 2 or 3 days, depending on the storage locker company. But if you told them, look, I needed an extra day, if you buy it on a Friday and you need it till Tuesday of the next week, the ones I buy from, they've been pretty flexible with getting stuff out of there in time. So,
yeah, just remember when you're bidding on something, look at the size first. Yeah. 5x10 or a 10x30. Yeah. And especially if you're doing it online, it's completely different than the pictures, because when you get there, like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of stuff.
Right.
What you do is, if you don't have, an SUV, a truck, a minivan, you can always rent a U-Haul. Mm-hmm. And then just figure the logistics that way. But just remember too, before you make these purchases, you're gonna have to have some dedicated spot in your house to bring all the stuff in, whether it's a garage, a shed, your living room. Right, Kim? No living rooms though. I know we used to do that a lot, and then it became overwhelming. But
another thing I would say, Mike, is if you know somebody that sells furniture, so furniture is going to be your big problem in a storage locker. Like for me, I don't really sell furniture at all because I don't have a warehouse or anything. Everything gets stored here. The January house has lots of rooms and a basement. We store stuff in the January basement. But I have a friend that sells furniture, that has a store that will sell furniture, and he's told me, hey, let me know if you have anything you want to sell. So I've snapped pictures and said, hey, any interest here? Mm-hmm. And I'm more than willing to sell it to him at a lesser amount, have him come pick it up and take it away, and I don't have to deal with it.
Exactly. So what I like to do too is if you do a lot of local stuff, because you're going to have to do local if you're buying storage units, in my opinion, right?
Right. Yeah.
Go create. It's free. You can do a Facebook fan page, but create it for your business for local. You can then throw that in buy sell trade groups to get people to like your page. Mm-hmm. But what it does is when you're at your unit and you see a hutch, you're like, dude, I really don't want to move this in the next 3 days, right? If you have time to get it out, just snap a photo of it. Say, here, cheap, $20. I mean, I've even done it with like some of those big oak 1980s entertainment centers, and I just take a picture, I'll put it on my site, I'll throw it in the buy sell trade groups, I'll say free, take it.
Right.
And people will come, Yeah. So I'm just laughing here. What the hell says no more eating in my dining room? It's a sorting room now.
That's right. That's right.
That's hilarious. But yeah, it's a process, especially if you're buying your first one, because it could be completely overwhelming. But there could be some amazing satisfaction in it, right, Mike? Like, yeah. Kim's advice was start small. Don't go after a 10 by 30 because you might just keel over and die.
Right. Yeah, the first one I ever bought was small. I agree with Kim totally. I bought a 5 by 5. I was scared to death. I spent $20 on a 5 by 5, and I was so nervous. But I saw one of those Ninja blender things in there. Those processors.
Yeah.
And it was just a box. So I was like, I don't even know if it's in there, but it was in there. And there was some Nike shoes. But also look through everything that is in that locker. Because that locker, that first one I ever bought, there was a kid's jacket. And in the kids, like inside the lining, so in the coat pockets where you put your hands, there was a hole. And money had gotten down in there and got all the way around like the hem of the jacket. I don't know, whatever you call it, right? And there was $14 in that jacket.
Nice.
And so it almost paid for the whole unit right there, plus the Ninja blender and the Nike shoes. So I mean, it wasn't that big of a risk, because I saw some items, and as long as they were there, and even if they weren't there, if you were out $20, you're only out $20, and it's only 5 by 5, which you can pretty much clean out, in one day in your car, probably your truck. So yeah, start small. I agree.
Yeah, and then 9 Pound Hammer says, I disagree. Go big or go home. And it's. Yeah. It's the thing. Like, I mean, what the hell's is in the chat here? They buy big units, and same with like Locker Nuts and Storage Auction Pirate and all these other great YouTube channels that are out there. And but they've got a system in place to do these things. You got to understand that. And it takes time, and don't go out there and say, oh, I'm going to go buy a brand new truck, a new trailer. And then you buy 3 units and go, oh my gosh, I really don't like doing this,
Right.
So
it's work.
Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying before, you're very transparent on your YouTube channel, and you share your eBay account, which is amazing. What type of items do you really like to source? Because I glanced at your eBay, and I'm like, wow, dude, you're really kind of rocking and rolling on eBay. I mean, it's applaudable for sure. And that's why I wanted to have you on the channel here, get people to notice you and start following you, because the videos you're putting out, it can really help people for people that are maybe new to the game, right? To go, oh, I didn't know that would sell. And so you're doing an amazing job on eBay, but kind of talk about some of the stuff, if you want to talk about it, like the stuff you like to source and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, I like to source all different things. And once I learn about an item that makes me money, then I go out there and I try to find as much of it as I can. I'll give you a good example of one item I had never thought I would sell ever is Mary Kay, makeup, right? So I buy a lot of estate sale items. There was an online auction from an estate sale, and I won a few items. And then when you go to pick them up, if you've purchased items from the online auction, they have like a cash and carry table, they call it. So you can Just bundle up a bunch of stuff that's on that table, and make an offer. They'll make you an offer for one big price, right? And so I was picking through, and then I saw these like 3 big Ziploc bags, like the freezer bags of Mary Kay makeup. And I didn't even know if like makeup expired or not or whatever, but I threw it in there all together, and I paid like $20 for all this stuff. And I took it home and I started researching, foundations and eyeshadows and the different numbers and all that. And I made good money on the Mary Kay stuff. So, that's something I'm always looking out for now, because there's a lot of Mary Kay, I guess, sellers that are looking to, get rid of their inventory, dump their inventory. And I bought a few lots from people on Craigslist that were saying, hey, getting out of Mary Kay and open to offers for all my inventory. And so I've done that. But, I like to source stuff that sells fast. Right now it's video game systems, action figures. The vintage G.I. Joe stuff sells like crazy. And I won a few items in your auctions on that. And I've done really well with them. And even things that are broken or missing pieces. Yeah, you're not going to get top dollar for it. But I've sold, if you've seen my videos, I've sold G.I. Joes with missing hands and He-Man figures with missing heads, and just broken, because people are using that and they're making, they're taking apart from yours and adding it to theirs and making a complete figure or what have you. I've sold G.I. Joe just the heads themselves. It's crazy. So yeah, I like sourcing all types of things. Anything that'll make money, I like sourcing it.
Yeah, and that's a good point about the action figures and stuff like that. Oh, we're getting an echo now. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you.
Okay, that was weird. Oh. But yeah, you make a good point that, people are always looking for the parts for toys. And then there's people like making custom toys. So they're like, hey, I'm really looking for another older G.I. Joe head or a Cobra Commander head or whatever it may be. And it's definitely interesting, because eBay is one of those platforms where, if you really think about it, pretty much everything sells on that platform. From pecans, dirty underwear, G.I. Joe heads to freaking Gucci purses,
Right.
And but yeah, really quick with that, you've bought some lots from me, and I was watching your videos. I'm like, I sold him that, dude. He just flipped. That's pretty awesome, because that's really what we're trying to do with the auctions, is to get these products in people's hands that either want to collect them, want it for themselves, or want to resell. And I'm not trying to plug my auctions or anything like that, but I know you've bought a lot of lots from us, and we really, really appreciate it, right, Kim? And we're really thankful that people like you and a lot of the others in the chat have bought stuff. But overall, just, I didn't pay you to this next testimonial, or you could say, Mike, dude, I'm just going to rip you apart. But what's your experience with it? Buying the auctions for myself.
Yeah, so far so good. Like I said, I've sold. I think the first ever lot I bought was that lot of Harley shirts that you had originally. I think I bought stuff at every one of your auctions except for one, and I was trying that time. I just got outbid a lot. Your prices are good. You start off, at a good number. Free shipping. How can you beat that? From Arizona to Pennsylvania, it takes 2 days, and it's free shipping. You're selling items that are in demand. I think, video game systems, a lot of jewelry, the Harley shirts. People like that kind of stuff. And then just some of that odd, quirky, some of those other items. I've had a great experience. I've gotten a lot of good deals. I feel I've lotted up a lot of video games. I've sold some G.I. Joe figures, and you're not cherry picking the stuff. It doesn't seem like, just like a bag of G.I. Joe accessories. Bang, here you go, $5 start. And I bought some video games. So I have a disc cleaner for video games. So some of them I haven't been able to get working, but I feel like for the money I spent on the lot, if one or two aren't working here or there, no big deal. You're going to have that at a yard sale or garage sale or a thrift store. You don't really know if you're not able to test every game like that. So no, I've been very, very happy, very satisfied. I'm making some money.
Awesome.
And I'll continue to buy from you, definitely.
Yeah, we super appreciate it, Mike. Thanks so much. Pool Time Pickers just subscribed to January House. Good stuff. So
Pool Time Pickers.
Guys, make sure you're subscribing to Mike here, January House, and he will not let you down with the videos, man. I like the videos, for sure. This is an interesting question I was going to ask you here, because a lot of stuff that's on YouTube here, it's all about like, oh, we've sold this, we've sold that, which is great, right? But As a reseller, do you have anything in place in terms of savings? You know, maybe do you have a percentage where you're like, hey, you know what? I want to have a future at this here, and especially in crazy times like we have now, where the quarantine, maybe things aren't. We don't know what the future is going to hold here.
Right.
Do you have any type of savings plan with your reselling business?
You know, I don't have anything like specific, like you know, it just goes into a different savings account that I have in my bank. But I try to put 20% away.
Okay.
Sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't. You know, now's a crazier time than before, but it's busy. Also, some weeks I do it by week. I look at my sales per week, and I try to put 20% away is how I do it. And sometimes it's less. And, you know, hopefully if I ever get more, it'll be more. You know, maybe I can bump that number up to 30% at some point. I try to keep a little bit in my PayPal account always, just for, you know, for online auctions, to always have it, be ready. So I don't ever usually drain that PayPal account. I don't know if that counts, but yeah, I try to put stuff away. 20% is what I try to do, but I don't put it like in the specific stocks or, you know, 401k or anything like that. I'm just squirreling it away, I guess.
Yeah, that's good to know, man, because, you know, it's, as resellers out here, you know, there's no planned paycheck to some extent.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
the sales are kind of up and down. You're not too sure when they're going to come in, but, you know, after you've been doing this a while here, you realize, yeah, sales are going to happen today. If they don't, then you go, oh my God, what happened here? But I think it's important especially for people that might be new listening here, just to make sure that you're saving some money here, because you never know what can happen, you know. Right. And it's great that you're doing that, Mike. Philly Picker says, I'm new to your channel. Let's put this on the screen, and we'll read this. Philly Picker, I'm new to your channel at Global Voodoo. I've been watching Mike for a little while now. I saw his Instagram post about the interview. I hope to check out your auctions. So super cool.
Look, I brought a viewer to you, Mike. How about that?
Awesome, dude. That's freaking cool. I appreciate that, Philly Picker.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're making videos here. Let me make a note. And then
he is. Philly Picker makes videos. His name's Joe. He's in Philly, Pennsylvania. So if you haven't watched his videos, go check him out too. Hey, Joe.
Awesome. All right, Joe. I'll be subscribing after the show here. That's for sure. Let's talk about this, because I really want to. I think when people click on your videos and they subscribe, they're going to do a little look-see-loo at your eBay. And like I said before, I think you're doing really, really well on eBay. And you're going to deserve a lot of subscribers here on YouTube, because people are going to look at that and go, well, this guy's for real.
Yeah.
Talk about like your experience with like how your mind thinks when you're processing an item for eBay. Like, what's your price point? Are you doing the lowest price on eBay with your item, or are you looking at other options? I'm going to let you discuss that, because it's always interesting to hear people's thoughts on pricing.
Right. Yeah, I definitely don't do the lowest price off the bat. But I won't be like out of the park, you know, high price either, unless there's no comps at all on eBay or anywhere that I can find, and I'm just taking a shot in the dark. But I generally try to be under the highest price, or right around the highest price that I see on comps. Because I know I'll send out offers, and I know at some point I'll probably have a sale in my store, which will bring it down, which will bring that price down anyway. But yeah, I generally try to start on the higher side. I definitely look at comps on eBay or online, different places. And yeah, I do best offer, Jack. Yeah, I definitely do best offer. And I don't have a bottom automatic decline. I turn that option off. So even if I'm selling a $20 item and someone offers me $1, I don't have that decline on, because I always come back with a counter. I mean, I might counter at 19 just because he gave me a low ball number, but I feel like it at least gets the conversation going. And I've sold a number of items that way. They start low and you throw out a crazy high number, and then if you end up meeting somewhere in the middle of, you know, 10, 12 bucks, and that was good for you. I mean, if you're buying things in storage lockers and your average cost of goods is 25, 50 cents, and you started at 20 and it's been sitting there for a while, and someone's going to give you 10 for it. I mean, that's how I do it. I don't know. I don't have that auto decline on. Yeah. And I don't start at the lowest price, because I know I'm going to have best offer on, and I know I'm going to maybe add a store sale at some point, 20, 30% sale, just to get items moving if they're not.
Yeah, and that's great, because, you know, that's a great point there, is when you're looking at an item that you might be a little higher up there, but if you have that best offer option on there, it's like you said, it opens up the door to a conversation. But not only that, though, your point is speaks volumes, because when you start selling a lot of items and you've got a lot of items that you've got pennies into it or quarters or $1 into it, you might want to free up the space. You know, I always kind of compare that to the Walmart end cap, right? Walmart's never going to have, you're never going to see on the end cap the same thing over and over and over, right? Because they want it gone. And depending on what the item is, you might look at it and go, you know what? I've had this for 3 years.
Right.
I was asking 25, they came in at 12. Well, I mean, I do the same thing, Mike. I'm like, all right, dude, sold.
Yeah. You know what else I've done lately, Mike, and I don't know if anyone else does this or not, but I've changed pricing on the same item for eBay and Mercari, and I found that I can actually get a little more for an item on Mercari sometimes than I can on eBay, and I'm fine with that. So, like, if I have something for, you know, just say $15 on eBay, I might start it at 20 on Mercari. I'm getting either full price at 20, or hey, will you take 18? Sure. Or, you know, if you do a promotion on Mercari, it's usually like a $2 increment deduction. I sell for 18. I made more money on Mercari selling it that way and less fees. Yeah. So I've been trying that kind of stuff too.
That's awesome, because you got to remember too, guys. I mean, we live in this world right now where people's patience, it's like that.
Right.
And if they see something, there's a lot of impulse buyers. So they're not going to probably do a lot of research on something. If you're like, hey, you know what? I want to maximize my product here, throw it out higher. You can always come down in your price versus starting it low, right?
Right. Yeah.
You always come down, and you have the ability at any time throughout all these platforms to adjust the pricing. This is a little off topic, but it's fitting into this here. Do you ever send offers to buyers? Like when you get your watchers?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about
probably every 2-3 days. I send whenever eBay really lets me do it. And I'll send, even the new items, like stuff I just list. And then tomorrow, if I have watchers on it and it's $25 an item, I'll send them an offer for 22 and just see what happens. You know, because now, I don't know if you've noticed, Mike, but now they're allowing buyers to make counter offers to your offer that you sent them. You can change it. You can turn it off in the setting, but I don't know. For me, I think that's new. I never saw that option there before. So I definitely send out offers as much as I can. I've been trying to have more process things in my day-to-day for my reselling. So one is obviously make sure I try to hit 20 listings, but I also try to hit promotions or give out offers on eBay. So on eBay, it's send offers. On Mercari, it's promotions. And then, like I talked about with my Poshmark sale, my one big Poshmark sale so far, it's more of a social channel, more of a social platform. So you need to share your items and follow other people and share their items, and you kind of all work together to sell these things. So take a few minutes for Poshmark, a few minutes for Mercari, a few minutes for eBay to send out offers. Yeah, I do all that.
Nice. That's good to know, because I think it's important. You know, we don't really live in a world right now where it's set it and forget it. I mean, you could have items like that and just set it and forget it. But what's great is you can look at your daily thing or make a routine about it. Like do it in the morning maybe, or at night before you go to bed. Say, all right, you know what? Because you can sit in bed and whip out your iPhone, dude. And all right, let's send you an offer. I want 30. Let's see. Would you do 21? You know, it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Which I like. Full-time Picker says, let's put this on the screen here. Full-time Pickers, I often find that when I send offers to buyers, I get full price sales on the item soon after from another buyer, even on sale items.
All right. Yeah, I've had that happen too. Yeah.
Now let's go another step further, man, because tell me if this has ever happened to you, Mike. All right. So I went 2 days this week without listing anything on eBay. Every day I'm shipping some items except Saturday or Sunday, right?
Okay.
So I didn't list anything for 2 days. I go to list my first item, and I'm not even done listing it. I just logged in. Ching, sold.
Yeah, Ching, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? Or there's you just got done finished packaging up all the orders, and you're like, all right, I'm good to go. Then cha-ching.
Yeah. Or you're leaving feedback for somebody because you forgot to. And yeah, it just seems like the more activity you have, or any kind of activity, if you've missed for a little bit, or you're doing either a lot of listings or a lot of feedback or shipping a lot of items, it just seems like, it generates something within that eBay algorithm that is helping you, helping buyers find your items in search, or I don't know. Yeah, it definitely helps. So I try to be as active as I can.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, are you in purgatory, eBay, because you haven't listed for 2 days?
Yeah.
Or is it all just in your head and your mental, and you've lost it all because you're like, dude, nothing sold, but now I just logged in and now I'm selling things again.
Right. Yeah, I think there's something to it. I've heard from many people that eBay likes an active store, whatever, quote unquote, whatever that means. So
Yeah.
I've heard, changing listing titles, keywords, photos, descriptions, feedback, anything you're doing helps. I've heard. So I try to do as much as I can.
Yeah, me too. Let's see here. She Sells by Sue. I stopped answering best offer so quick because I find that those sell sometimes as well, full price.
Right. Yeah. So I do that too. If I get an offer, especially on an item I just listed, like I get a lot of offers on items I just list, and I'll wait an hour, 2 hours, just to see what else is out there. And I've made sales, at higher prices because of that too. So I don't answer them so quickly anymore either.
Yeah, we had the same product, me and you. You had a Little Mermaid NES game.
Oh, yeah.
Inbox. And I don't know if you got the same message, but I was asking 65 with shipping. I had a best offer on it. And the guy messaged me, goes, "Would you take 25?" And you know what? Usually with that, I want to engage, but I didn't, because I looked at his feedback and I'm like, all right, this guy's just either buying it to flip it or so I ignored him. The right thing to do, I don't know. But he waited 2 days, and I'm like, and when I looked at your eBay store like earlier in the week, I was like, oh, dude, January House got the same one. So I was like, all right, maybe this guy's going to buy yours, because there wasn't too many of them out there from what I saw.
I got the same message, and
that's funny.
I didn't take his offer either, and I waited a little bit, and I countered him back. I countered him back at 40.
40.
And he didn't answer me back at all. So
that's funny, dude.
I still have it for sale if anyone wants one.
Yeah, because I ran a sale then, and then he snagged it up. So I think
he did.
Like 52 or whatever. But yours is a better copy.
All right, maybe I'll go raise the price after this. Yeah, because I'm only asking 45. Like normal, like my regular price is 45.
Dude, that's funny. How crazy is that?
That is crazy. Yeah.
There wasn't too many out there, and I looked at you and I was like, "Hey, that's Mike's." I'm like, "That's cool, man."
Yeah, I definitely wasn't going to sell it for 25.
Yeah, because he was beating me up on it. I'm like, "Dude, no, just go play the public somewhere." All right, dude. Reselling is a hard business, and you need to have a lot of patience, as we can agree with that. What can you tell someone who's just starting out in the reselling game to help them kind of speed up the learning curve of all this?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to have patience, and there's definitely a lot to learn. I don't know. I would say, there's a lot of resources out there. There's YouTube, which has great resellers and videos. You can learn a lot by watching people on YouTube like Mike. Craigslist Hunter's another good option. There's a lot of message boards, like on Reddit. There's a flipping message board that I feel like the people are pretty honest, and they'll tell you pretty much any search term you search in Google. If you add the word Reddit at the end of it, you'll find a message board pertaining to that. For me, the way I learn is like I do a lot of research. I'll look and see what's sold on eBay, just random things that just sold. Like I'll just type in keywords and just look at solds, and take me to an item that'll make me think of another item, and I'll go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Or I'll look for lots. Like I just recently bought a lot of Warhammer figures from you and your auction. So I know nothing about Warhammer figures, other than I know that they sell because they're collectible and whatnot. But I mean, I have no knowledge of them. But I bought a lot of, I don't know, it seemed like a pretty big lot on your auction for $120.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
And, even if I lost money on it, just say I only sold all of those items for $100 and I lost $20. I feel like I paid for that education on Warhammer, where I would know what the valuable ones are the next time a lot came up, right? And know what to search for next time, or if I see them in a yard sale, I'd be able to have some knowledge in my head to pick them up. So I think research is key. I think, but don't spend too much time. If you were a new person, I mean, you're going to make mistakes, and like, you can't be afraid to not take action because you're afraid of making a mistake. If you don't have much into the item and you sold it for 20 and you should have sold it for 30, oh, well, next time, you know what I mean? Like, it sold right away probably for you. You made money. But yeah, do your research. There's a lot of outlets out there. There's a lot of resources. And, I found, since I've been doing these YouTube videos and meeting all these great people in the YouTube community and on Instagram. Just ask questions if you have. There's a lot of Facebook groups, like, there's Instagrams, YouTube channels. I mean, people are willing to help each other. This business seems to be different than other businesses where I found, 99% of the people are really good, down-to-earth people that are willing to help you. I mean, if anyone ever wants, if I can ever help anyone, feel free to send me a message on Instagram. It's the January House, and or on YouTube. I'll try to answer, and if I can, I'll try to steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, that's good tips, because this business to me is all about learning. It's just understanding what you're looking at, especially if you're in the field, if you're out in the wild, or if you're looking at storage units, and you got to make educated decisions. But it's just, you're going to grow, but don't put yourself in a corner. Don't just say, hey, listen, I just want to stick to shoes. If you want to do shoes, then that's all you want to do. That's great, but just you got to keep going, and you got to understand every little detail about shoes, which it takes some time, right? And there's trial and error.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
we got a question here, and this is a nice one here. Have you guys talked about any changes with the shipping during the pandemic? Anything people might not have considered?
Yeah, good question. Good question. Yeah, I have an item that I sold on Mercari. It's a DVD, so I shipped it media mail, and it went to the New Jersey, post office, regional routing center, or whatever, and I shipped it on the 4th or the 5th of April, and it still hasn't reached the customer. And I think he's in Illinois. Mm-hmm. And the tracking shows it's supposed to be delivered on the 9th of April. So today's the 19th, right? Yeah. So obviously it's very late. So yeah, media mail for me changed. And the other thing, just to let you know, is I do my own shipping on Mercari as an option. So I don't use the Mercari label. Yeah. And guess what I found out? I have no shipping protection, seller protection on that item because I shipped it myself. Yep. So I mean, I might be able to take it up with the post office. I mean, it's a $10 DVD, so I'm not that worried about it. But just a tip there. Yeah, media mail seems to be slower for me anyway, because I ship a lot of DVDs. But how about you, Mike? Any changes you've seen?
Yeah, other than just the post office seems slammed. Like it seems really, really busy. Like especially last week. Earlier part of the week, everything that I was sending out, people were like, hey, I haven't gotten it yet, after a couple of days. And even stuff I was buying, I'm like, whoa. A lot of the tracking information was showing delayed. It just said delayed. It was getting checked in, but it just said delayed.
Right.
It's going to be past the expected time. And I thought that was interesting, but I could see why, because this postal system and, whether it's the USPS, it's FedEx or UPS or DHL, I mean, they've got to be handling peak amount of products here, like it's Christmas every day, right? Right.
And I've heard there's something with Amazon where they're prioritizing the items that are, essential items versus non-essential items.
Yeah.
Like I don't sell too much on Amazon, so I'm not really speaking with great experience on there. Just stories I've read. Maybe somebody else knows more about it than I do, but
yeah, for us, we were looking at something earlier today. I don't remember what it was. It was non-essential. And I was like, all right. And it said, May 30th? Oh, it was a DVD. Yeah, it was a DVD.
DVD.
And it said it would be delivered May 30th. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So if you're shopping, I think a lot of people are transitioning from the Amazon right now on non-essential stuff, and they're going to eBay. So
yeah,
fine. I'm coming across things. I want to throw this out there too. If you shipped through Mercari, but you don't use their service, if you go through PayPal, I believe you're covered as a seller if you use the paypal.com/ship now.
Okay. I've been using Pirate Ship.
Are you using, okay.
But so maybe I'm covered on Pirate Ship, but I just started. So I got a message from the guy, like, where's my DVD? Yeah. And I was looking because I thought it got delivered. And then I saw the tracking number, and I can't go to the post office till tomorrow because they're not open on Sundays. But, yeah, I looked at Mercari. I said maybe I could send a note to the people at Mercari to see what they would want me to do. Like I don't want to have a negative. I don't want to give the guy a bad experience, And but I saw that and I was like, oh. So yeah, maybe I'll check on Pirate Ship to see what they say.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure with PayPal and this PayPal.com/ship now, you can print labels, and I'm pretty sure it offers like a seller protection. Pool Time Pickers, he says, great live, guys. Hot tub's ready for the wife, and he's going to enjoy the night. So, have fun in the tub. And thanks for stopping in. Thanks for all of you guys that are jumping in here right now and watching me and Mike. Again, if you want some more reselling information, you want to watch a cool dude, go subscribe to the January House here on YouTube. There should be a link in the description. Jack Matt says, I'm getting a lot of messages I want a refund, not received lately. I've been getting a lot of those too. And I just tell them, I say, listen, kind of what I just said. I said, hey, there's a lot of stuff going through right now. I said, but you are protected. If something doesn't arrive and there's a problem, contact us, but just give it a couple more days and watch it be updated. And, it's been happening a lot, but I think it's getting back to normal, maybe. I don't know. It could be crazy again next week. Kind of off topic, dude. Let's look at music. What do you listen to when you're listening?
You know what? I listen to music, but mostly I'll try to listen to like podcasts. And there's a couple. There's one out now with two YouTubers. Who is it? Lonnie from Garage Flips, and is it John from Cincinnati Picker?
Okay.
Anyway, they got a podcast. It's called Guys Without Jobs.
Oh, cool.
And it's kind of, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I'll listen to, I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s. So I have a weird music taste of like heavy metal, Metallica, I don't know, Poison. I got some rap in there, some, 90s rap, Snoop Dogg and, I don't know, Ice Cube, stuff like that. But I like Dave Matthews Band too. So my mom was big into like oldies station, when I was growing up. So I have a lot of 60s and 70s, like the Beatles. I'll listen to the Beatles a lot. Queen. I like a lot of classic rock stuff. Queen is good. I have them on. Basically, I have all these stations on my Pandora channel, and then I just hit shuffle, and everything's different. Like, there'll be a Queen song, and then there'll be Kanye West, and then it'll be, Avett Brothers, and then it'll be whatever, Poison. I don't know. So, I'm all over the place with music.
That's cool. So if you guys have any questions for Mike, here's your time. If you want to leave a comment down below, we can ask Mike a live question from you. Again, Mike, it's been a pleasure having you on here, man.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about watching your channel grow and watching the type of videos you're putting out. It's interesting to me because I know you've bought a lot of stuff from our auctions and we're thankful, but it's funny watching the video and be like, I sold this. I'm like, hey, we could have got that type of money for it, Kim. But no, it's awesome, man. I'm really, really excited for you, man.
Yeah.
So,
thanks for having me, Mike. I really appreciate it. Big fan of yours for a long time. So
thanks, man. I really appreciate you watching. I really do. That's the joy of it, though. Like Kim was saying right here, she's like, "This is the joy of it. Like giving somebody else the item, and they get it, they process it, they flip it. I mean, it's been awesome. So, but thanks again for the support, Mike. Is there anything you want to touch base on tonight, Mike?
Well, I don't know. I just, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I want to get started in flea markets when they start opening up this year. I haven't ever sold at a flea market before. Is there anything, I should do differently than I would? Like, I'm thinking of bringing my maybe lower priced items or, items that aren't that much of a value, because I don't think I could get, $100 for something at a flea market. But am I wrong about that? Or should I bring collectible stuff or what would your advice be? First time flea market seller.
Yeah, here's what I would do is I would go to that flea market, spend an afternoon there, or go first thing in the morning and just walk around and see what everybody else is selling and see where the traffic's at. And they're probably going to be the storage auction guy, right?
Right.
He's just going to bring a bunch of stuff out and it's going to be randomness.
Yeah.
But watch what people are buying and then, kind of get an assessment there. Go home and look and go, okay, what did I see people buying? Were they buying low-end stuff? Or were they walking around with, expensive looking things? It just depends on the flea market. But, once you decide that, you might say, all right, let's go with the smalls. Let's just do everything's $1. And that could be a great business model if you got a lot of what I like to call junkage,
Yeah.
You can pull in $300, $400, $500, $1,000, depending on how much foot traffic is coming through there. But I would say not knock the other part of it too, like the collectibles, It's
I would say like our flea market here.
Mike, can you hear
Yeah,
Kim?
I can hear Kim. Yeah.
We totally know that we can get rid of the junk from a storage unit, like the pots and pans and
Yeah.
the household stuff. We know that stuff is going to sell like hotcakes at our flea market.
Yeah.
Collectibles we know don't sell. But if
Right.
we go up by Scottsdale, collectibles would sell there
Yeah.
and the junk wouldn't. So it totally,
Yeah.
I think, depends on the market.
Okay. That's good info.
Yeah, and it's just, change it up too. Always change like your look of things. Like I'm telling you, when you start to see the same people, and if you got the same stuff on the table, excuse me, they'll just walk right by. So get creative on how your setup is, and then just always try different things, huh?
Stage it, like
Yes.
I used to.
Stage it up. Yeah.
Yeah, to stage the stuff, make it look somewhat pretty, right? Then there's so many different quirks about it. Like some people like digging through boxes, so maybe have one box of just a bunch of stuff in a box, let them dig through it. Where others won't bend down to look in a box. They'd rather just look at the table,
Right.
But try everything, That's what I would say is just try mixing it up. Maybe one week collectibles, next week just pots and pans, and you're gonna find a happy medium there, dude. And when you do, you're like, okay, great. But also too, this is what I always say when people, I don't care who they are, they walk by, and even if they don't buy anything, I'm always saying like, hey, is there something you're looking for in particular?
Oh, okay. Right.
And what that does is it creates a conversation for me to hopefully future down the road sell them something.
Right.
If they say, oh, I'm really into Coca-Cola stuff. Oh, really? I've got some of that I could bring next week. Oh, really? What time? And it's always like that because more than likely, if you've been buying for a while, you do have an accumulation of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And you can fit the need to that particular buyer. But not only that, that gives you a heads up in terms of, oh, I remember that lady, the Coke lady. I remember the yarn lady. And you start to get these things in your head and go, all right, I need to bring this to the market. So,
yeah, I'm going to definitely check it out. I'll keep you guys posted. Hopefully, when we open back up for business here in Pennsylvania and I can get out to a flea market and sell, I'll take some cool videos. And, I'll try to use I'll put a camera somewhere in the back so people can see like you do and on the side of the road. I really like those side of the road auction sales. I wish we had them here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of auctions though up by you and a lot of flea markets, which is neat. Because some areas don't have flea markets, or they're in an area where there's nothing even remotely close to something like local selling.
Yeah.
Matt says, Jack's an experienced storage auction buyer and seller. Make your booth look like a garage sale,
Yeah.
And then here's the $1 million question, right? Do you price items or do you not price items?
Right. Yeah. And you don't price items, right?
I usually don't. Sometimes I do, and I find that either one of them work, but like it's what I price is stuff that I know is a little smaller, like jewelry, right? I'll have them in poly bags and stuff like that. And I'll throw a price on those because I've had good luck selling like costume jewelry, nothing crazy for $2-3 versus me throwing them all in a box and saying, hey, a quarter each,
Right. And having someone dig through them.
Yeah. So, well, super cool, man. Again, I appreciate you coming on here with me tonight. We're about the 1 hour and a half mark. Kind of want to keep this, afloat here. Just want to say to you, thanks for coming on. You guys out there in the chat, please do me a favor. Go subscribe to the January House. I'm going to give Mike the last word here, dude. So you're going to close it. You're going to bring it home, dude. Bring it home.
Yeah, I think I'd like to say thanks to Mike and Kim. You guys are great, and I've learned a lot from watching your videos over the years. And I think if you're a new reseller out there, I say just don't be afraid. Just jump in and take a chance. And if you buy the item at a decent price, and you sell it even at maybe not the highest price you could have, at least you learn something. Learn about new niches. There's a ton of information out there. And I'm willing to learn as well. So if anyone has any tips for me, feel free to contact me or hit me up on Instagram or comment on my YouTube videos. I'm always willing to chat. So appreciate the time. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, awesome. Really appreciate you coming on, Mike. Again, guys, subscribe to the January House. You guys go out there and be amazing and just get stuff done, we live in a world of craziness right now, but we live in a world right now of opportunity. And but stay away from the negativity side of things, right? Maybe stay away from the Facebook environment, the media. Just stick to what you want to do, right? If you want to do reselling here, make money. Even if you're like, oh my God, I can't leave my house, I can't go to the thrift store. There is a whole world of online auctions right now, not just here on YouTube, but on Facebook. I mean, you can join Facebook groups that are only just live auctions.
Right.
People like me and Mike and other people that are literally selling stuff from their living room. It's pretty freaking cool the time we live in now. So again, thanks to you guys for all the support. Thanks, Mike, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
With that being said, live show over. It's over.